Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poisons, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
What up, YouTube? Well, Nate was supposed to be on, but he had an emergency at work, and so there is no Nate tonight. We were literally setting it up, and shit went haywire at work, so it's just Jim tonight. But no biggie. Hold on, let's switch this up. I think I can do it, right? Let's go there. Perfect. Anyway. So Nate was supposed to be here, but again, something came up at work, and again, it's been really hectic with Nate's work, and well, like I said, we're trying to like remove, move around it and maneuver it so that he can get back on the show. It's been hectic. He's been promoted like 3 times, and shit's just not working out right now. But he's here in spirit. He was going to be on tonight, but things got hairy. So we're gonna run through the books this week, and I got to do really quick some omitting because there's some books on here that I didn't read that he read. But know that this week for me really was kind of flat until one book showed up out of nowhere, and I was really surprised by it. So 4, 7. 4 and 7. Sorry, I'm looking at my files trying to figure out what I'm going to get rid of because we're not covering those books. 7. There you go. But yeah, no, like he's been kicking ass, and Nate definitely has been missing the show. He wants to get back on. He had Wednesday off, so I was able to film with him the new Comic Book Day short, which I'm super happy about. Like, I was so glad that we were able to get him in. So that's good. And we're going to keep trying to do that as long as he gets those days off. And then at some point he'll be back on the live shows. He's not going anywhere. It's just trying to get work set up and getting him back on the show. But like, he's got to get all that other stuff situated. He's got to train people to get back to where we're, both of us on the show. But we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. But as for the week, I'd give it a solid B-, except for one book. One book just blew it out of the water, and I'm incredibly, it's been great. So before we start talking about this week, though, we got to talk about our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics Game here in the DFW area. Just get right into it. Snap-on. That is where me and Nate get our comics and our back issues, our collecteds, our omnibus, our hardcovers, our collected editions. That's what I was trying to say. Action figures, models, card games, board games, dice, plushies, all that good stuff. Posters, statues, collecting comics and games. So if you're ever in the DFW area, go check out Collected Comics and Games. They've got 3 locations, one in Fort Worth, one in Hearst, and one in Irving. So please go check them out. And if you can't, or if you're not in the area, you can always go to their website, staycollected.com, where you can find all those fun things and store exclusive covers, variant covers. It's a really cool site. Also, I got to talk about our sub goal giveaway. We're giving away a kick-ass slab at 1,250 subscribers. That's right. When we hit that goal, we're giving away this bad boy, CGC grade 9.8, Uncanny X-Men #1, signed by Jim Chung. So we'll be giving this away when we hit 1,250 subscribers. We're getting close. And then when we hit 2,000 subs, we're giving away this Thor #1 Nick Klein sketch variant signed by Donny Cates, 9.8 CGC grade. So if you're not already subbed, make sure to hit that sub button, ring that bell, and give us a like. Let's get to chat really quick. Jaden, what up? Jaden, Nate, no. RIP Nate, we barely knew ye. Yep. Cheers from Asgard. What up, Joe? Good for him. Yep. Are we sure Nate doesn't have a second podcast and is cheating on us? No, he's not. He's been working his ass off at this new job. So, you know, he's getting that bread, you know what I mean? And that's good for him. And but like I said, he misses the show dearly. He misses y'all dearly. It just hasn't worked out yet. Like the scheduling and just getting everything set just hasn't worked. So he'll definitely be here. And he was supposed to be here tonight, but shit fell through. I mean, that's just how fickle scheduling can be and days can be when you're working a hardcore job. So it is what it is, but he will be back soon. Joe says Alien vs. Avengers is my patois. I also included Incredible Hulk Annual was really fun. Jeff Shaw drawing a badass fight scene between Hulk and Thanos is worth the cost. Right on. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, well, like I said, I read my books fairly quickly because we had the show today rather than Sunday. And I originally when I was starting to think like what's gonna be my pick of the week, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what? So it was kind of meh, and then that one book just popped up. I was like, oh yeah, that book. So when we get to it, and I'm sure y'all probably know exactly what it is, but when we get there, we get there. So let's kick out the show. We're gonna kick it off with Frankenstein, issue #1 from Michael Walsh. This was kind of a surprise. My dad actually saw this in solicitations and picked it up, and he told me the premise of it, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, which is basically we're following each body part that is used to construct Frankenstein. So I was like, oh, that sounds neat. I don't know, I might pick that up maybe. But then he picked it up, and then Nate was at the shop and we were talking about it, and then we realized that Michael Walsh was the writer and artist, and I was like, holy shit, we have to pick this up. Both me and Nate were like, we're picking it up, and I'm glad I did. I miss Michael Walsh in any capacity when it comes to comics, and so when he showed up in my pool, or he showed up in this, I was like, well, hell yeah. And I really enjoyed it. You know, it's obviously a classic story with Frankenstein, so I think the shock value is probably a little harder. And I don't mean that by any means as a critique. I thought it was really good, but again, it's just a classic tale. But, you know, we're definitely going in a bit of a different direction in the sense that we're following the body parts, which I think is really neat. So this was fun. And, you know, we start with the hand, with one of the hands, and a son of a father who's the father's hand is being used for Frankenstein. But overall, I really enjoyed the issue. I think it felt very classic, yet still had a very modern twist. So yeah, I liked it. Joe, that's dope. Your dad keeps up with comics. Is your dad a comic reader? So initially, no. He all my life, he's been a massive vinyl record collector. And so ever since he moved up here to be closer to my family and his grandkids, he wanted to get into a new hobby, and I was like, well, do you want to, you know, at first it was just, let's go to the comic book shop together with me and my son, who wasn't in school at the time, and so he was just coming with us. And then he started kind of looking around, and then he started picking up issues, and mainly horror and indie books. Really, that's all he does pick up. He doesn't pick up any superhero books, or at least not any like Marvel, DC. But it's been really cool to like we've just been experiencing you know, the hobby together. And so he's been picking up books, and like I think like 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, when the new Plastic Man book comes out from DC Black Label, we're both picking that up, so that's going to be really fun. But it's really cool to just kind of like go to the shop with him, and he'll pick up books for himself. He'll pick up books for my boys, because we're getting them into comics, which is really good because my oldest is now, you know, he has to do reading for homework. And you know, we went to the parents teacher conference like the second week of school, and I was like, is it cool if he reads comics? And she was like, totally. So like he's able to read comic books first for homework, which I think is fucking awesome. So like, yeah, the hobby has definitely grown in the house and has grown within my family, specifically with my dad. So yeah, he's got a weekly pull now, or a monthly pull. It's pretty sick. But anyway, Frankenstein issue 1, thought it was really fun. Definitely putting it on the poll. We'll be continuing the read. If you're looking for something just fun and I mean, it's Michael Walsh. Like, would I love for him to be on Silver Coin right now? Yes, but if I have to get my Michael Walsh fix, that was hard. I'll do Frankenstein. Like, so yeah, that wouldn't have light up my school, Jaden. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's gotten lax over the years, but I can't tell you how encouraging it is to like we come home from school and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go read my new comic book, and like we can write that down for homework, you know. So I think that's awesome. Like I think that's a very encouraging thing, and that's kind of I believe it's a very positive thing for comic books. And you know, again, like what, comic books have been around forever, but I feel like there's been definitely a resurgence, and so like for his teacher to be like, yeah, read them, you know, I love that. Obviously that probably won't fly the older he gets, and you know, he's gonna have to read like actual books and stuff like that, but at least we're getting it in there, right? Jane, it's all right, that's right. Hey, but you can read them now. All right, let's keep moving. Next up we have Void Rivals issue number 12. This was the issue I was looking for, in the sense of like plot progression, and subtle nods to the other franchises that we're working with outside of G.I. Joe. We still haven't, and I get it, like we're in space, so how are we really gonna have G.I. They're still on Earth dealing with the Transformers. But I really liked the subtle nod at the end of the issue. It's very clear that these two societies that have been warring against each other are they're mixed up in some weird shit. I think they're mixed up in some like prophecy bullshit, and having I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. Basically, if you haven't read this book, spoilers incoming. We've got our two main characters who are kind of about to split and go in two different paths, and when they basically embrace each other before they leave, and they've got like stones on their heads, when they clink, they touch, like it sends out like kind of like a signal, and you see this massive, what looks like a planet with a black hole in it, and as it gets closer, I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking Unicron. Unicron is coming into Void Rivals. That's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I was so stoked when I saw that, because we're getting ready to go fucking nuclear when it comes to Transformers, and Void Rivals, I think, is getting ready to introduce just a massive concept of a world eater. You know what I mean? So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. This was the issue I was looking for. I think we're going on hiatus after this, which kind of makes sense after you have like a really big tell on that. So I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I had fun with it. It wasn't my pick of the week, but it definitely moved. It progressed the story, which is what I've been wanting for a bit now. It felt like we were kind of not moving in that direction. So I was happy for it. I was happy about that. So Void Rivals, fucking awesome. All right, jumping over to DC, we got Green Arrow issue number 15, Absolute Power tie-in. I don't know. It was fine. You know, I think if there's any story right now in an ongoing, it's this one that kind of makes sense. But we're not really, you know, outside of Oliver not being on the superhero side, you know, we're dealing with his family and them trying to figure out what the hell's going on with Oliver, and then Oliver shows up at the end because his family's getting attacked by Amanda Waller's crew. So like it definitely like it's a fine tie-in, yet it still feels incredibly fillery. You know what I mean? And I just don't know. I really, outside of DC's Black Label stuff, for me, DC has just been very lacking, and it's been a steady progression or a steady decline from where we started when we first started the show. And that's just me personally. I know there are plenty of people out there that just absolutely love DC, and that's good. That's fine. And I'm happy for them. And I wish I could be as enthusiastic about it. But for me, I don't know, DC is just kind of lacking outside of its more independent vibe books. So this one to me was just kind of like, it was okay. It was fine. It was perfectly fine. But I do want to know what the hell's going on with Oliver. And like, we'll just have to wait and see. Joe, for the Energon being powered with Kirkman, I'm surprised they aren't writing more of the comics. Joshua has more influence than Kirkman. Yeah, I mean, with at least G.I. Joe, for sure. I don't know. I'm ready for, when it comes to Void Rivals and the Energon universe, I'm ready for like a big old thick annual that really just kind of ties everything together and gets us like in a proper alignment of where we're going next. That would just be my only thought. So I'll have to wait and see. But Green Arrow, okay. All right, Nice House by the Sea, book number 2. This was freaking awesome. I think this book is really, this concept is kick-ass. I am a firm believer of like, you have to definitely get reacquainted with the previous arc before you start reading this, because if you're not, I think you can get lost fairly easily. With that being said, I had a lot of fun with this book. The mystery is compiling. Walter apparently is still alive. There are multiple houses, I think. It looks like, it would appear. I think it's just, you know, we've seen them. We've always been introduced to a mess in this book, obviously with them flashing to the present, with everything just being destroyed and the people within the house kind of like scattered. But I just feel like we're inching closer and closer to figuring out why it's that way. I mean, Tiny Onion is just a fucking master when it comes to writing suspense and horror and mystery and sci-fi. And so this has been freaking awesome. I really enjoyed the book. This, I will tell you right now, would have been my pick of the week if there wasn't another book that came out of nowhere for me. And I even knew it was coming out. I was like, I don't know if I'm that interested. And then Nate talked me into it, and I'm so fucking glad he did. But this would have been my pick of the week. Just saying. Joe, is anyone reading Absolute Power Origins or Task Force? I've heard it's hitting the Absolute Power, hinting at Absolute Power universe. Yeah, no, I've heard that too. I'm reading Absolute Power. I'm not reading the Task Force of the Origins. I mean, again, I'm going to check out Absolute Power when it comes out. I'm going to do, most of them. I'm not doing, I don't know. I'm taking it with a grain of salt. We'll just see how it goes. But like, I'm just kind of, I don't know if it's because I'm just not as versed, or I don't enjoy DC heroes as much as I do Marvel. And maybe that's why I have the feelings and thoughts that I do towards the current content. But like, when we got into DC initially, I was all for it. I was reading the books and going like, man, this is fucking awesome. And then like they did their first little like, I go back to it. It's always been when they robbed Death Metal of its significance, and then the failed launch of G5, and then like all the other different rebranded soft relaunches, they lost me. So I really hope they can find, I really hope that the Absolute Power thing that's coming really refocuses what we're doing and doesn't allow for, I just don't want it to be as messy. That makes any sense. Excuse me. I just don't want it to be messy. I want there to be some consistency and some clear direction, because right now I just don't feel like it exists when it comes to DC. So, anyway, Nice House by the Sea, freaking awesome. If you're not reading this, go read the other stuff, then read this again. It's so worth it. All right, jumping over to Marvel. We're going to kick Marvel off with Aliens versus Avengers, issue number 1 from Hickman. And this is my pick of the week.
That's Chip's pick of the week.
Listen. You guys know me. I'm not a big horror fan. I'm actually really not that big of an Alien fan. This fucking slapped so hard. I mean, it was just classic Hickman. It was classic Asad Ribic. Like, the fusion of Alien or Aliens, whatever you want to call it, lore, Marvel lore, then the subsects of lore within Marvel lore, whether it's X-Men and Krakoa, what the hell, or just general cosmic Marvel awareness from Hickman. Like, when Hickman's allowed to just fucking cook, this is what you get. And then you put Asad Ribic on the artwork. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm sorry for cussing so much, but like, it was insane. This was so good. I absolutely loved it. And shout out to Lee at the shop, who was like, pick up issue 2. Before I even read it, she's like, pick up issue 2. I was like, why? She's like, just do it. Because there's clearly going to be these first appearances of this new type of suit that, like, if it ever fucking snaps, if they ever do a show or a movie or an animated show or whatever on this concept, this is going to be the book the next book are going to be the 2 that are just going to pop off when it comes to resale. I loved it. Absolutely loved the book. I think the story is fucking awesome. I think the plot progression, the artwork, the flow, everything hits on this comic. And you would have never hear me say that in a million years about an Aliens book. Never. This was awesome. When I remember when they first announced this, I was like, I don't know. I'm good. I'm so glad I picked this up. This was so badass. And I guess I didn't really pay attention to it, so I didn't realize that Hickman was fucking reading the book. That was writing the book. So like, it just hit on all of it. It's amazing. I can't wait for the next issue. I am so stoked. So stoked. Same, but my store are slow to get the new issues. That sucks. I am trying finding this where I live. I didn't see it at the last store I was at. Which is, I had a problem ordering independent books, but that's why I gave up and just trade them. Yo, if you're still looking for issues, I will check with Ron, and if he still has some, order it on his website, because I'm sure he'll have them, because he ordered a shit ton of these. Dude, I always take Aliens over vampires. You know what? I'm kind of there with you. Anyway, this is my pick of the week. It's fucking awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. I think the little subtle nods that Hickman did with Alien lore, with Marvel lore, with X-Men lore, like his little dig with having Krakoa actually in there, even though like Krakoa is no longer a thing. Like, I love that. I absolutely love that. So it was great. All right, jumping over to NYX, issue number 2 from Kelly and Lansing. Good character progression and really getting X-23 or Wolverine out of her shell and letting her work with others. Basically, is this issue is her finding out that she needs to work with others and not be such a solo hero. That's really this issue in a nutshell. I liked it. There were parts of it that felt kind of draggy. A little bit too much exhibition, right? Exhibition? I don't know if I'm using that word right, but there was just a lot of, I felt like some unnecessary words, but overall it was fine, and I'm still very up on NYX. I think it's probably top 3 of the new X books for me, so I like that. But I there were parts of it that were slow, so I'll just take that with a grain of salt. But I did enjoy it. I thought the show, I thought this book was fun. Jaden, I'm not starting to care for the art, and the story is kind of meh. I think there were parts of the story that were meh, but there were parts that I liked, and I'm just ready for the I want the team, right? I think issue 1 was fun. Issue 2, I felt like I was like, well, why is it necessary that we have a character breakdown for Wolverine? Like, I get it. Like, she just needs to work with the team. Done. Yeah, I think she is getting her own mini, so like I don't know if she'll be within the book or not. Yeah, that's the part that I didn't quite understand. I was like, this doesn't feel like the character. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she does speak like that, but I have not experienced her speaking like that. Like it, just hack and slash, yo, hack and slash. Anyway, all right, over to Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, issue number 4. We're still dealing with this mystery of like what the hell's going on with Gwen. Why is she in the 616? Why does she have this new power set of like explosive blue energy? And what the hell's going on with Chameleon? I still like it. I've been having fun with it. But I don't. There's still some mystery. I don't think it's I think it's intentional of why we don't know what's going on. So I'm not, it doesn't frustrate me. It feels very intentional from Stephanie Phillips. Like that's what we're doing. So like, I don't have a problem with it. Usually there's some books that do that where it feels like a mystery, but the writer's like, no, it's right in front of your face. And you're like, oh, you're not telling it right. Like, or you're not being very clear with what direction you want us to go. And it's very clear that we're just being left in the dark intentionally with this book, and I'm here for it. So I'm having fun with it. It does feel like the art is up and down. This week I felt like the art was up, so that was cool. But yeah, I liked it. I thought I'm having fun with it. Like I said at the new comic book day video, this is my Silly Goose Time book. Like it's just my Silly Goose Time book. Spencer, I actually liked the build up for NYX, hoping for more action in issue 3. I hope so too. I read a lot of her comics. It's not really how she sounds. Gotcha. Oh, for X23. Joe, it's crazy that this title is already getting a spin-off with the TVA book, but awesome that Pep is the artist. Yeah, I am definitely picking that book up. Like, for sure. Like, 100%. But this has been a fun book. I've had fun with it. I'm saying fun a lot. Ultimate X-Men issue number 6. You know, we're building, we're progressing in Peach's world. We're getting closer and closer to, I guess, an X-Men team. We'll see. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. I like it. I like the mystery to it. I like the originality to it. I like the give no fucks to it when it comes to Peach just writing her own story and her interpretation of the Marvel Universe and X-Men. So I liked it. We got a little bit of action in the book and a little bit more plot progression. So I liked it. I know for some people it's not their cup of tea, and I totally get that. Holden, yo, Saturday show, is this a new norm or just a one thing? So originally Nate was supposed to be on tonight, but he got caught up at work. So this is just a one-time thing. Usually it'll be on Sundays. I don't know though. I kind of like Saturday. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Saturdays? I kind of like Saturdays. It's kind of nice. I mean, it makes me read my books quicker too, but I kind of like Saturdays. I don't know. Let me know. Should I put it? You know what? Let's set up a poll. Start a poll. New live shows on Saturdays? Live show on Saturday? Yes or no? Start the poll. Bada bang. Let me know, chat. All right. I'm free Saturdays. All right, Jaden. Good. Let's see. I feel like how often books get canceled early from Marvel. Writers are taking bigger risks with the slow burn. They really are, because sometimes they start to drift off. No, I get that. So anyway, I liked this book. I'm still on it. I'm still a big fan. I will say I'm ready for there to be some more, like, I'm ready for more introductions of other X-Men characters, or at least Peach's version of X-Men characters. So there's that, but I'm liking it. I'm enjoying the book for sure. Let's see here. I gotta look at chat over here because it's covered by the freaking vote. Can I move it? I can't read chat. I'll read it over here then. Joe, I have a hot take. The Ultimate X-Men book was meant for Demon Days universe because there's almost nothing that connects the maker's influence. I could see that. I could totally see that. We'll have to, I don't know. I could see that for sure. I definitely see where you're pulling from there. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm sure you're right. And I guess it would kind of feel forced, right? If out of nowhere the maker just showed up out of nowhere, like that'd be kind of weird. So anyway, all right, X-Force issue number 2. Chat, who read this book? Anybody read this book in chat? If you did, let me know what you think. I'm gonna give it its the first arc, but this to me had classic like issue 2 slump. I just felt disconnected. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I felt like the explanation of what was going on was very vague, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I feel like it didn't feel like it was something that was on purpose. It was more like you should know what's going on, and I don't like that. I don't like it when writers do that. So I'm gonna give it the first 5 issues of the first arc, but I didn't like this issue. I was not a fan of it. I felt very confused, and I didn't know where my eyes were supposed to go, and I was like, well, why are we in Wakanda? And I don't know, like it felt very disconnected. So I don't really have much more else to say about it, because it's just I didn't like it. There were moments that I liked, but I felt very like I didn't know which direction we were going. I didn't know what I was reading or where I was reading. So I don't know. I didn't like it. And the Ultimate Office told HR to add it. Yeah, I forgot. Because we've seen some mutants working for the Maker at the end of Ultimate Invasion. Yeah. But as for X-Force, I mean, it's in danger. I will say that. Like, it's definitely in danger. I don't know. I'm giving it the first arc. But if, like, 3 doesn't progress or, like, gives us some explanation of what the hell we're doing, it might not make the first arc. Oops. All right, our last book of the night, X-Men issue number 3 from McKay and Stegman. You know, I really wish Nate was here because Nate sent me a text about how he hates that Cyclops has been given so many good lines in this book, so many like kick-ass lines. And I am not a Cyclops hater, but he had some pretty awesome lines in this book, and I don't know, like, I think the story itself is doing great. I think the story is starting to pick up. I think McKay is starting to find his flow, and we are definitely moving in a direction. We're moving in a direction where, like, what am I trying to say? It feels like we kind of know where we're going, right? Like, we know where we're going. Yeah. I think that there were moments in this book, and Jaden, this may upset you, and I'm sorry. There were moments in this book where I felt like Stegman found his rhythm as well, but then there were panels again that just feel very rushed. And I truly think the reason why it's like that is because the last time we saw Stegman, outside of Vanish, but again, it would apply to Vanish, his artwork, I think, really thrives in dark coloring. And when it's very bright and vibrant, I just think that there are things that are missing. If you look at the cover, for instance, everything I feel like is on point, but Cyclops' face, there's something wrong with it. I don't know if it's the eyes within the visor, if it's just him chewing or what, but like everything else feels like it has detail, it has life, and like Cyclops' face just looks flat. And I think there were many moments within the book where that was the case as well. But then there were other moments, like when Magneto's talking to that one mutant that has the fire or the hot and cold, That was kick-ass. I mean, again, I think the story is definitely picking up, and I think as the book goes, I think Stegman will find a flow, and maybe it's because of just like how quickly this book is coming out. But like, I don't know, like there's something off for me when it comes to Stegman's work. But if you put that aside, I really did enjoy the book. I think I'm really getting invested into this, humans manifesting mutant powers well after they should have, and the government looking at it as like a disease, almost like they're infectious. I like that. I think that's really cool. So I don't know. I'm liking it. I'm liking the direction we're going, and that's not me just being like an X-Men apologist. I'm enjoying it. I'm not really recommending it to anybody. If you don't want to read it, don't read it. I'm not saying this is a must, but I am enjoying it more than I thought I would. So, Joe, I enjoyed the first issue of X-Force, but I decided to move it to a trade pile. I think that's smart. Jaden, I honestly noticed it, but I enjoyed looking at it more than NYX. For some reason, to me, Laura looks squirrelish. Is I saying squirish? I don't know. I can't read. Joe, X-Men is still working for me. I kind of understand some of the complaints about, but I hated the Krakoa era, and this is fun. Jed McKay has my patience. Let McKay cook. No, I agree with that. Didn't Temper use to date Kid Omega? I don't know. If that's the case, that's pretty crazy. Temper was like on fire in this issue. I thought she was kick-ass. You should be happy. What does it say? Just like a little heart emoji, so I can't, because Stegman is off issues 4, 6, and 7. So who do we get? Who's gonna be on it then? Is he off completely though? Like, that's gonna be kind of frustrating, even though I'm complaining about the artwork. So who's next? Natho Diaz. Well, let's look up this guy's artwork. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's put you on here so you guys can at least see what I'm looking at. Natho Diaz. Let's look at the artwork. That looks pretty dope. I mean, oh, he did a lot of Predator stuff. All right. Well, cool. All right. I mean, I can get down with that. Pun intended, Jim. 100%. He's back for issue 5, but nothing I can tell. Gotcha. No, definitely pun intended. I like it. I think I had Krakoa fatigue for sure, and so like to have just like a kind of a straightforward yet still mysterious storyline with Jed, I think is great. I'm obviously much more invested with Marvel, so like I can't wait to see like what the next big event's going to be outside of like our little Venom War thing that we're doing over here. Like after that, I'm very interested to see what we're doing with Marvel in the coming months and next year. So, and I'm assuming McKay hopefully will be at the helm, because the dude is cooking. Like, dude is cooking right now. I know we just got done with one of his major events, so maybe he doesn't have a big event coming up, but we'll have to wait and see. So, all right, guys. Again, I apologize. Sorry, Nate wasn't here tonight. Again, things got in the way. Work got in the way, but don't worry. We will get it figured out. We are working on it as we speak. Who knows? Maybe he'll be here for New Comic Book Day. Maybe we'll see him on Wednesday. I'll just have to wait and see. But again, I appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank you for being patient. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for just hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Looks like 85 of you said yes to a Saturday show. We'll take that into consideration. We'll have to wait and see. But I kind of like Saturdays, but if we don't want to do Saturdays, no big deal. We'll make it work. But again, I will check in with Nate and see what's going on. I'm hoping to get him on sooner rather than later, but we just really got to work around his work. It's just kind of hard to it's just hard. It just is. So it is what it is. It's the current situation, but we'll get back. Don't worry. Like, Nate misses y'all. He wants to be here desperately. It's just not working out right now, Joe. But we got to give it to Peach for writing and drawing Ultimate X-Men without a moment off. Yeah, a month off. So, yeah. What, Jaden? Seriously? Wow. What? What'd I do? Did I say something wrong? Have Nate pre-record reviews. We care about Nate's opinions. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just him. It's him finding time too. Like, he's working so much that he gets home and he just zonks out. It's just a weird situation. Once he gets somebody trained, a couple people trained, he'll be able to walk away and be here, and set his own schedule. So, yeah. No month off. Yeah. Oh, for Peach, gotcha. But yeah, we'll get there, guys. He'll be back at some point for sure. It's just a matter of time and just getting things oriented, or until he finds something else that's not as time intensive and consuming. But again, like I said, maybe we'll look into the pre-record. I would love to do that, like record, like talk about the book, and then him come in, play the video. So we'll figure it out. We're gonna get him back here at some point, whether it's pre-record or live. Nate will be back for sure. So I thank you so much for y'all's patience, and thank you for sticking around and just at least hanging around when I talk. Am I playing Marvel Rivals? Has it come out yet, or is it still in beta? I would love to. I definitely want to. I just picked up Gundam Breakers 4 for Switch, and I cannot wait to play that because I'm a huge Gunpla nerd. And then Joe, you asked last week what mangas I'm reading. I literally just picked up Rent a Girlfriend Volume 26 and read it in 45 minutes, and it was fucking awesome. Drama galore. I'm just saying, drama. Anyways, guys, thanks again for hanging out. I appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you guys this Tuesday for our new Comic Book Day video. And then again, probably you'll know if we're doing Saturday or Sunday next week, depending with Nate. I'm going to ask him again if he can get on there. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I downloaded a free manga app. I've been reading Rent a Girlfriend. Thanks for the recommendations. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's slice of life, and it's I like it. I think it's really good. It's got that drama predicament, kind of paint yourself into a corner kind of situation. And when I first heard about it, I was like, that sounds so stupid. And then I started reading it, and I was like, holy shit, it's really good. It's a really good story. A lot of heart, a lot of emotion, and a lot of consequence. And the shit hit the fan in this most recent volume, volume 26. So I went to the mall, bought the volume, had my wife drive us back home, and I started reading it in the car, and I got a quarter of the way through, and I kept on slapping my head with the book, and my wife was like, what's going on? I was like, it's all happening. It's all happening at once. So how many issues are out? Currently, volume 26 just dropped. Jade, the main character is a weirdo. Yeah, he's pretty weird. But I feel for him, dude. He's desperate, man, and he wants to make his grandma and his family proud, and he just doesn't. He just can't figure it out. What was I saying? How many volumes? So 26 drops next week, but Barnes & Noble usually puts them out a week before. I know in Japan, the volume 37 just dropped, and it's still ongoing. So 36 or 38 is going to drop probably the next month. So I don't know. I haven't really done any research of how long the writer's going to go, but there's a shit ton. I mean, we're on 20. We're essentially 10 volumes behind Japan, and they come out every month, if not every other month. So yeah. Yeah, right. And I know that what's crazy is just getting on a Rent a Girlfriend tangent. I think that's a real service in Japan. People are lonely over there. and they're also introverts. And so, you know, it's just some of the things that you do, or that they do. But I think what the book does really well is it like introduces you to that concept, but then it dives deeper into like character development and relationships and predicaments. I mean, especially with both the main characters and their, you know, alien grandmothers and family. Like, I don't know. I just like the tug and pull between like the drama and then like the real life consequences about the lie that they're having. And again, I am diving. If you get the itch to read it. If you don't. But I am thoroughly enjoying it, and I read that volume so fast. Like, I am contemplating reading it online for free, but like I kind of like the idea of like going to the store and picking up the volume. Like, I like the physical copy in my hand. So I'm sure I'll cave at some point. Anyways, guys, oh, sick, dude. Hell yeah, Joe. I'm definitely very jealous. I would love to go. It is the experiencing a population decrease, but it's kind of the government's fault for forcing boys so much. Dude, we could dive down that rabbit hole. Maybe we should. Maybe we should just have like a Thursday stream where we just talk random shit. I would love that. But anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys Tuesday for New Comic Book Day, and then either Saturday or Sunday for a live show. What do you watch manga? Do you watch manga YouTubers? No, I think I tried to watch one once because I was like, maybe I could do that, and I feel like I could do it a lot better than some of the manga guys that are out there. So, but that's not a spite to anyone else. I feel like I could review manga a little better than what's out there right now. But anyway, we'll talk about it later. Anyways, guys, we'll get you later. As always, fam, be kind to one another, and as always, read more comics and manga too. Catch you guys later. Bye.